Sankirtan Ki. Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Tolerant Devotees Ki. My leg is so stiff.
How stiff is it?
I can barely stand up. Okay. Nice to see you all. I'm afraid to walk in case I don't get very far. So welcome everyone. It's very lovely to have you all here. Thank you for another exciting edition of Bhagavat Sravana, which happens every Sunday. Oh, life has come back into the old leg. We're very blessed and honored to have with us today His Grace Vasudev Prabhu. Haribol! That wasn't very good. We're blessed and honored to have today with us His Grace Vasudev Prabhu. So, in one sense, Vasudev Prabhu needs no introduction. And often I know sitting in that seat you hope no one does introduce you. But I'll just say that Vasudev Prabhu is a long-standing member of the community, leader here at the Bhakti Center for many years, and primarily known for his wonderful service to their lordships, being their head pujari or head priest, as well as being an erudite scholar, master in Sanskrit, working on a book currently at the moment. He may or may not mention that. And we're very blessed and honored that today he will conclude a series of talks that he's been giving over the last year, I guess, previous year. You started when we came and you're finishing now almost a year later. on the verses from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu known as the Shikshastakam. So Astakam means 8 and Shiksha means instruction. So the 8 verses on instruction from Lord Chaitanya. And today I think we're going to cover number 8 and conclude. So without further ado, we'll hand it over to Vasudev Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Vasudev Prabhu ki. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Yes, Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumidangena Tasmai Shri Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sahapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupadamayyam Dadasi Sarvadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yutabhalakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakhanvitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Ancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. He Krishna karuna sindhu dinabandho dinapate gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Jani Thakur, for your very kind words. I guess this is the mic here. Okay. See some new faces here. Is any one of you here for the first time?
It's my second time.
Second time. Has anyone of you not heard of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So you just kind of have to go along with it. There's not a lot of background information I can give in this class. We have more introductory classes on Saturday, and we have community groups coming up. We have Intro to Bhakti. It's an introductory course coming up, not coming week, but the week after, on Wednesday and Friday. I highly recommend it to kind of have an entry point into Bhakti and its teachings.
When is the other plan?
On Saturday,
evening. That's called Soul Talks. And also we have an introductory course in Bhakti coming up. That's on February 5th and 7th. And it goes for 4 weeks straight. Highly recommended for an entry point into the teachings of Bhakti. Will it be on their website? It's already on the website. Yeah, you'll find all the information there. So we've heard in the last year, when I started this class, about the Shikshastakam and its various verses. It's been a journey. Actually, I started this last year, right at this time, because we're just about to enter into a period of where the focus is very much on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the last incarnation of Krishna in this world, who came to spread this movement of devotion to Krishna, especially through the chanting of his names. That's why we do kirtan here. We're all followers here of him. If you look at the altar, you see Radha and Krishna, and then on the other side, that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha and Krishna. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Radharani is his eternal consort, and they're inseparable. Krishna is the source of energy, and Radha is the original energy. And God without his energy is not God. And energy without its source is not a complete understanding as well. So Radha and Krishna are eternally together, and they are eternally in love. They have a loving pastime which goes on eternally. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that in just very brief. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And Krishna himself came to this world 5,000 years ago. And what did he speak when he was here? Bhagavad Gita. And what did he teach in Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, surrender to me. But then Krishna thought, okay, I've taught this, but not everybody's getting it. So what often does a teacher have to do to make his point very clear? To teach something? You have to set the example. So Sri Chaitanya is Krishna himself, descended in the mood of his own bhakta. So he's Bhagavan, he's the Supreme Lord, but he comes in the mood of a bhakta, of a devotee, to teach bhakti, how to serve him with love. And in order to do so, he doesn't accept the mood of any devotee. There's many kinds of devotees with many expressions of love. But he took the mood of Sri Radha. The complexion, like Krishna has as you see, has a darkish complexion. He took on a golden complexion, the golden color of Sri Radha. So he's called Gaurangi, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. Her complexion is like molten gold. So Sri Chaitanya is Krishna himself, who took on the complexion, the golden color of Radha, and the bhava. He's called Bhava Jyoti, Suvalitam, the bhava. He took the Jyoti, the complexion, and the bhava, the mood, the loving sentiment of Sri Radha. That was his goal. Besides giving an example what it means to be a devotee, he also wanted to experience himself what it's like to be a devotee. What is it? Because Krishna is the recipient of the love of his devotees. So he wants to also experience, what is it like? What are they experiencing? I'm feeling they are more in ecstasy than I am. Their bliss exceeds even mine. They're so ecstatic in seeing me and serving me and loving me. So, and in particular this one devotee, Sri Radha. Sri Radha is the very embodiment of bhakti. And whatever bhakti devotion we find actually originates from Sri Radha. She's the personification of bhakti. So bhakti reaches its zenith in the person of Sri Radha. She's the very personification of bhakti or devotion, love for Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya is Krishna who stole her mood to fully understand. He wants to fully experience what she is experiencing in loving service to him. So he took her mood and her complexion. That's the secret of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Shikshastakam is a very special series of verses because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't leave a lot of verses. Very few. And among them, primarily, the Shikshastakam. These are only 8 verses. His followers wrote many books. And we still continue writing books. There's no limit to it. But he wrote only 8 verses, although he was one of the greatest scholars. Of course, he's the Supreme Lord, who could be a greatest scholar. But even in his earlier pastimes, he was a very great Sanskrit scholar. So he could have written many books himself, but he gave us only 8 verses. Sometimes less is more. Because when you, as Krishna's Kavar says, truth spoken concise, like eloquence, true eloquence is truth spoken very concisely. There's a great poet in Holland, where I'm from, his name is J.C. Bloem. He's considered the greatest poet in Holland, but he wrote very few, only few books. But because his poetry is like, there's not a word too much or too little, it's like considered so pristine, because it's so exact. And so Sri Chaitanya wrote only 8 verses, but within those verses we can find the very depth of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, of all devotional literature described. So we've been on a progression through these verses. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us the glory of chanting the holy names, the mood in which we should chant the holy names. What is that mood? Humility, yes. What else? Tolerance. And Jani Thakur was just saying, all glories to the tolerant devotees. What else? Yes. What else?
Give respect.
Give respect and?
Not expect.
Not expecting respect for oneself. Easy to say, right? That's could give like many classes on that. Unfortunately, I haven't realized it. And he spoke about the mood and the desire, the pure desire of a devotee to only serve Krishna life after life, and without consideration of wealth and followers and enjoyment with the opposite sex and all other kinds of material enjoyment. He rejected that. And even liberation. He said, life after life, let me be my servant. Let me be your servant. And then we heard about a prayer, beautiful prayer, how Sri Chaitanya prayed to become just an atom, an insignificant atom on the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is a prayer to not only be engaged in service, but in service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. God has many forms, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu aspired only to be the servant of Krishna, his beautiful 2-armed form, who's the son of Nanda and who's playing the flute. There's many reasons for this, which we won't go into. And by aspiring, as we progress in devotional service, and we develop our love for Krishna, then certain symptoms become manifest. So the 6th verse, he's praying, when will I experience ecstasy or bhava? When will my eyes be decorated with tears of love as I chant your holy names? When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end? So he's approaching like the higher levels of bhakti in that verse. But then after that, it's a very interesting verse. Anyone remembers the 7th verse? Many of you can recite it by heart. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishayam shunyayitam digat sarvam govinda virahedam, which means
Feeling your separation.
oh Govinda, feeling your separation. I'm considering a moment
To be like 12 years or more.
to be like 12 years or more. Is that it?
I'm reading.
Yes, tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. And I'm feeling all vacant in this world in your absence. You see, just like a moment for when Radharani is with Krishna, she feels like a day of Brahma, which is millions of years, feels just like a moment with him. And in his absence, she feels like a moment in that absence feels like that day of Brahma, like a millennium. So naturally, the question arises, if you feel like this sounds like pretty miserable, right? Actually, it's not. Actually, this stage of separation is the greatest ecstasy. Because, anyone remembers from last time? We talked about this at great length. One example was given, how this feels, this ecstasy, and also I've given an explanation in a nutshell. Yeah, it's like this feeling of separation, love and separation is like drinking sugarcane juice, but it's very hot. But it's so sweet you can't stop drinking it, but still kind of burning your mouth. But the sweetness overrides the burning sensation. Sachadguru, my humble pranams to you. Thank you for being here. At any time you would like to add anything to what I say, please. Sachadguru wrote many books on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's a great scholar of Chaitanya's teachings. He has a beautiful book. It's a very nice book. It's like a complete description of the philosophy and the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and a great chapters there. One chapter on the Sikshastakam as well. Yeah, highly recommended. Yes, so in separation there's suffering, but it's the sweetness overrides that. And because in the absence of Krishna, when you're separated from someone, what happens? Someone you love passes away. What happens immediately? You mourn and you think about that person. You remember that person more intensely. Let's say your father passes away. Now you start to think about all the times you spent with your father, everything he's done for you and so on. So in separation from Krishna, the love, due to the great love devotees have, they think about him more intensely. But Krishna, since he's all-powerful and omnipotent, he can fully manifest in his remembrance. He's absolute. So just by thinking of him, you can fully experience his presence. So the devotees are actually not separated. It's only apparently they're separated. But in their separation, they actually feel great union. They feel great connection with Krishna. But still they want to also see him like before them, not just in their remembrance. So you may ask, like, okay, like, although this is the case, there's still that element of, like Radharani, once she's separated from Krishna, the gopis, they're practically dying. They feel so bereft. So it's an ecstasy, but there's still that pinch there. There's still the burning there of the separation. So then one may say, oh, why don't you just like give it up? Give him up. If this absence is causing you so much pain, why don't you give him up? So this is where we get into the next verse. This is the prelude to the last verse. So this is, you can even look at it on your phone, since we have, I don't think it's quite.
I wasn't sure if you
Just hit mirror. Oh no.
So it is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anchalila, chapter 20. And the text is, I'll tell you in just a moment. Okay. I have to figure out how to do this.
I just did it. You could have.
Technologically
Is that
highly
it?
challenged. Yes. Lord Krishna has become indifferent to me. Lord Krishna has become indifferent to me just to test my love. And my friends say, better to disregard him. So, this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
What was the verse again?
This is 20, verse 42. So Shikshastakam is, remember, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach, and he also came to experience. And these two purposes now beautifully, like two rivers, come together in one ocean of love. He's both teaching what love really means, and he's also experiencing that himself. So this is kind of like the real culmination of his very teachings and his very life. This is where his biography, this is his main biography, this book, ends. This is the culmination of it all. Because now he's fully entering into this mood of Sri Radha, her mood of complete selfless love to Krishna. So he's experiencing that and he's teaching that, revealing that to the world, and there's a lot for us to learn from this. What bhakti, what love, what devotion really means. Lord Krishna has become indifferent to me just to test my love, and my friends say better to disregard him. While Srimati Radharani was thinking in this way, the characteristics of natural love became manifest because of her pure heart. So her friends are telling her, why don't you leave Krishna? Why don't you stop thinking of him? This is another ecstasy of the gopis, this kind of talk. They can never forget him, but still they speak like this, in a way. That's just enhance their feelings of love. So this is the thought of like giving up Krishna, or being advised to disregard Krishna. What is Radharani's natural response coming from a pure heart in the face of that kind of talk? So then emotions became manifest in her heart and in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. In that mood, the mind of Srimati Radharani was agitated, and therefore she spoke a verse of advanced devotion to her gopi friends. In the same spirit of ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited that verse, and as soon as he did so, he felt like Srimati Radharani. So he's really now fully entering into her mood. Teaching us, experiencing that, and also teaching us the glory of that love. And there's many lessons for us to take away. So I'll recite this, and you can chant along with me if you know it. Ashrishava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotva yadhatadava viradhatum pato mat prananathasta sevanaparaha. Would someone like to read the translation here?
Let Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a devotee, after all, and can do whatever he likes. But still, he alone and no one else is the worshipable Lord of my heart.
Thank you. Aslishava padaratam pinashtumam. So mom, who is mom here? Who is me? Srimati Radharani. So, and what is she? Padaratam. Fallen at his lotus feet. Ratam means also fully attached, fully dedicated to his lotus feet. So, Aslisha, having fallen at his feet, may he, either he embraces me lovingly, or pinashtu, may he let him trample me. That's intense, right? Or adarshanan marmahatam karotava. Let him make me broken-hearted, adarshana, by not being visible to me. Yadha tadha va vidathatu. Let him do whatever he likes. And who's Krishna? How is he described here? Lampata. You have this word in Hindi too?
Yeah.
Lampat. What does a lampat mean? How would you describe it? In
He doesn't know because he's not one.
and the Bachi. What is a kind of a word we don't use so often? What's a debauchee?
Debauchery is like mischief, ne'er-do-well, delinquent.
A delinquent, someone who does a lot of mischief. A debauchee is not up to no good ever.
I always thought it was like a bit more derogatory than just.
It is derogatory.
Like a debauchee is like, someone who's like naughty. Yeah, naughty is very too nice.
Yeah.
They're enjoying, doing wrong
It's
things.
easy.
They
Right.
get pleasure from doing wrong things, bad things. I don't know, did you look up the?
Can we have a dictionary definition here of Avanisha, you wanted to say something?
As I said, historically, it's usually used for men who are very interested in sexual relationships with many women,
Yeah.
in inappropriate ways,
Person.
have affairs, even other things that shall remain nameless, like really, usually in a sexual way.
Yes.
Dictionary says, a person given to excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures.
A person given to excessive indulgence in sensual pleasures. I saw another hand there, Ali. I think you.
He got the definition.
Yes.
I was just going to read the definition.
So,
What did you say?
so,
He said a pervert.
so we're talking about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the very source of all morality, like the very source of all religion, like all the right and wrong, and he's described here as a debauchee. Can somebody please explain how that works? Yes, Phoenicia.
Well, from the perspective of Srimati Radharani, if she is almost like in an amorous kind of relationship with Krishna here, then she's saying, I'm falling at his feet, and either he can embrace me or he can kick me, essentially, because he has the right to kind of, bear with me here, quote unquote, sleep around with anybody he wants, because that is his right. He can do whatever he wants, basically, so he can have a relationship with anyone.
Yeah. Prabhupada says God is unlimitedly lusty. He's supremely lusty. If he is lusty, he's supremely lusty, unlimitedly lusty. How does that work? It actually only appears like lust. So this kind of language is used, but it's called kama rupa. It almost has the form of lust. It only looks like lust. But actually, Krishna, he's called the Rasika Shaker. He delights in unlimited mellows and pastimes with his different devotees. He plays around with his cowherd friends. He has a beautiful, loving exchange, as you can see there in the picture on the left. He's embracing his mother. And he also engages in unlimited amorous pastimes with his different devotees. who want to serve him and love him in that way. It says, Janmadya asya yataha. The absolute truth is the source of everything. So we find in this world, what is most prominent in this world? The relationship between man and woman. The amorous relationship. It's you turn on the radio, any song. It's like so deeply ingrained in this world. It's like love makes the world go round, right? It's just, we're here. We're all sitting here because two people fell in love. And the rest is history. Right? So it's such an important thing in this world. But where does it come from? It comes from the original amorous relationship of Radha and Krishna. And Radharani, like Krishna takes many, many forms, Radha also takes many, many forms. So all the different gopis, so you can see here on the pictures, many different cowherd girls, and they're all expansions of Radharani. So it's only apparently that Krishna is with many ladies, but they're actually all expansions from her. Krishna is not interested in any ordinary lady of this world. He's only interested in the expansions of his own, what's called Swarup Shakti or Ladini Shakti, his own pleasure potency. And Krishna expands himself in Radharani and unlimited gopis to expand his own pleasure. So he's enjoying with his own energy. There's nothing immoral about that. Like someone came to Prabhupada and made this objection, Krishna is immoral. He has so many gopis and he's married 16,000 wives. And Prabhupada says, so how many wives do you have? I have only one wife, she's sitting here. I think she was there. I said, you are immoral, because that's actually Krishna's wife. You are engaging with someone else's wife. Because Krishna, everything is coming from his energy. He manifests everything. So Krishna engages in different pastimes, leelas of joy with all these different devotees who manifest from his own energy. And with each gopi he has a unique relationship. With each of us, he has a special, unique relationship in a particular rasa or a particular mood. So although apparently Krishna's sleeping around, he's all over the place, but actually he's just engaging with in different pastimes with his own energies. The experience or the example is given in the Bhagavatam of a child playing with a reflection in the mirror. It's nothing but his own reflection. The gopis reflect his own. It's a reflection, manifestation of his own energy. So there's nothing immoral about it. But in the mood of this, Radharani here expresses a particular mood, calling Krishna debauchee. It enhances the pastime, the accusation, right? Like sometimes in loving affairs, like we accuse each other, like in a loving way. Like a mother tells her child, like, "Oh, you're such a rascal. You're such a mischievous kid." But actually, the mother's kind of like enjoying like the activities. So Radharani actually, although it seems like an accusation, it's actually a glorification. It's actually an expression of love. That this is who my Krishna is. And he is independent. God, he's called Swarat in the Bhagavatam. In the very first verse, he's called the source of everything, and he's Swarat. He's his own ruler. That means Swarat. He can do anything and everything. There's nothing like authority for him to discipline him. We always have some authority above us, right? Like first our parents, and then our teachers, and the government, of course. Like we have so many like control, but God is independent. There's nothing to control. He can do whatever he likes. That's his power. That's his uniqueness. So Radharani is saying, You can do whatever you like with me. You make me broken-hearted, or you can trample me. So, but mat prananathas tusa eva napra. You are my prananatha. What does that mean? Prananatha? You're the Lord of my life. And then you can ask, only one? You don't have anyone else, even though he treats you so badly? Nahaparaha. Not anyone else. He confirms, not anyone else. So this is unconditional, selfless love expressed. So we'll read a few more verses just to go a little deeper in this topic. So I'll just read myself here. I am a maidservant at the lotus feet of Krishna. So Radharani only desires to serve Krishna, to give him pleasure. That's the nature of her love, of her heart. He's the embodiment of transcendental happiness and mellows. If he likes, he can tightly embrace me and make me feel oneness with him. Or not giving me his audience, he may corrode my mind and body. Nevertheless, it is he who is the Lord of my life. My dear friend, as he's talking to the gopis. And where is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this point, while he's talking about this? He's in a little room in the Gambhira and Jagannath Puri, talking with his two most intimate associates, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, who are also actually in their forms in the spiritual world with Krishna. They're also gopis. So they're all experiencing the same mood. My dear friend, just hear the decision of my mind. Krishna is the Lord of my life in all conditions, whether he shows me affection or kills me by giving me unhappiness. And then the final verse we'll read. I do not mind. And now we can really enter the heart of this verse. I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna, for his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. And we have a purpose. Do we have an extra mic? Or that's not working? Then I'll just read myself, otherwise those who are watching online, they won't be able to hear you. Although I'd love to have other people participate. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that the devotee does not care about his own happiness and distress. He is simply interested in seeing that Krishna is happy, and for that purpose he engages in various activities. A pure devotee has no way of sensing happiness except by seeing that Krishna is happy in every respect. If Krishna becomes happy by giving him distress, such a devotee accepts that unhappiness as the greatest of all happiness. Those who are materialistic, however, who are very proud of material wealth and have no spiritual knowledge, like the Prakriti Sahajiyas, regard their own happiness as the aim of life. Some of them aspire to enjoy themselves by sharing the happiness of Krishna. This is the mentality of fruitive workers who want to enjoy sense gratification by making a show of service to Krishna. Now, we can not fully unpack this purport, but we'll just focus on one aspect, that a pure devotee is a very unique thing, and it's very almost like unnatural in this material world. The happiness of a pure devotee is the happiness of Krishna, even if that devotee may be apparently in great distress. It's a contradiction. Like my unhappiness is actually my greatest happiness. Figure that one out. We can get a sense of that in the love for a mother, for a child. And the mother. Are any mothers here? Have you ever been like feeling like stretched to the max and taking care of your child, but at the same time feeling great happiness because you love the child so much, you do anything for your... Is that your baby? Your...
Indeed.
You're not a baby anymore, but mothers always see their child feel like that. I'm 45. My mom is like that. Never changes. So yes, it's selfless love. So that's why this love between Radha and Krishna apparently seems like a lusty affair, but the material world is full of lust. What is the nature of lust? Kamendriya priti ichcha taribale kam. Krishna's Kaviraj says, lust is the desire for one's own happiness, to satisfy one's own senses. But love, premendriya priti vancha, dhare premana. Love is the desire to please the beloved, to please Krishna. So that's the unique feature of bhakti in its pure form. It's only the desire to please Krishna, and even whatever that takes, I don't care about my personal happiness. It's whatever I can do to please Krishna, that I will do. So it's not some kind of like mundane love affair. It's an expression of Radharani's service to Krishna's expression of pure love. And she's the very personification of bhakti. Wherever true, real bhakti manifests, this is its nature. Can we think of any other examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam where there's apparently distress, but it's actually great happiness for the devotee because they're feeling they're serving Krishna? Yes?
So when he was cursed to die within 7 days, obviously because he threw the dead snake around the Swami's neck, and he was cursed to die within 7 days. So obviously if you're cursed to die within 7 days, I imagine that within those 7 days you would be very distressed. But actually within those 7 days when he approached the Swami, he was asking the Swami, what is my duty? And his duty was to study the Bhagavad Gita, to study the Mahabharata in those 7 days, even though he was in distress. And in studying Krishna and showing love for Krishna, his distress vanished. And so when he did eventually die, when he was wrapped in the coils of the snake, he felt no pain.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a very eloquent speech. Yes. Parikshit Maharaj was in distress, but he didn't even eat or drink. Would you be in distress while you're eating and drinking? While you're fasting for 7 days, would you be in distress? He felt great ecstasy. He didn't even feel, because he was so absorbed in the service of hearing about Krishna. We see the Pandavas, they go through misery after misery after misery, especially Queen Kunti, Arjuna's mother. She lost her husband at a young age, has to raise her children in a very hostile environment. Others tried to kill her children and so on. Misery after misery after misery. What did she pray for? Let those misery happen again and again, because she never complained. Oh Krishna, why are you doing this to me? You're God. Why did you stop? No, whenever these difficult situations appear, then you manifest to me. So that distress is actually my happiness, because I feel you through it. I feel your presence. You manifest to us, and this is what I really want. It's just to be with you and feel your love and feel your affection and give you love. Exchange love with you. So if I have to suffer, but this gives you pleasure, this allows us to exchange a loving pastime, then let those miseries happen again and again. Rishi Prahlad Maharaj, he was tortured practically by his father in so many ways, but he was unmoved. He just was absorbed in the remembrance of Krishna. So when Nrsingadev appeared and Prahlad prayed to Lord Nrsingadev, did he say, "What's wrong with you? I'm your devotee. Like, I'm remembering you all the time. Still, I went to this and this and this and this and this." Nothing. He didn't mention like a single thing. He said like, "Oh, just deliver this person who was the cause of all this suffering. Like, please deliver him. And I don't want anything from you. Like, I'm not a merchant that I want something from you for my service. I just want to serve you." So we see how this pure bhakti, this pure love manifests. It's the source is Radharani, but it manifests in every pure devotee. And this is something to really take to heart. Because we all generally come to bhakti with some motive. Right? Nobody comes just like with this mood. And no conditioned soul comes with this mood. Lord, give me suffering, I don't mind. As long as I can serve you, I'll be happy. What kind of motives do people come for? Krishna mentions 4 in the Bhagavad Gita.
Desire of wealth.
Desire for wealth.
The distress.
Distressed. Anyone came to bhakti because distress?
Desiring knowledge.
Desiring knowledge. Wanting to understand the absolute truth. What else? One more?
Inquisitive.
Inquisitive. Like, okay, let me just find out what this is all about. Because, and usually inquisitive comes from, you come from distress or looking for wealth, come in touch, you have another motive, you come in touch with the motives, and then you become inquisitive in the process. So usually we come, and often it's distress. We're looking for solutions to our problems. Like a lot of our talks nowadays are like, how can the teachings of Bhagavad Gita solve your stress or your career problem or like whatever. So, because people don't come for pure love, so you find all these kind of talks, which is necessary. But actually, the heart of bhakti is it's called ahaitaki and apratihata. It's ahaitaki, it's without a cause. It's just unmotivated. It's the natural flow from the heart. Like a river. Where does a river naturally flows to? To the ocean. So actually our heart, the love which is naturally in our heart, our devotion actually naturally flows to Krishna. And it's apratihata. Actually there's nothing which is an obstacle to that. That is, real love is unobstructed. Whatever happens in the life of the devotee, however Krishna apparently treats the devotee, it doesn't change anything for that love, because it keeps on flowing, unobstructed, just like the river flows to the sea. Now, we all come, we can all look in our own hearts and see, what did I come for? What was my motivation? And can I also become completely selfless in my bhakti? For me, that's even after many years of practice, it's still somewhat of a foreign concept to me, because I tend to always think about me, myself, and I. How can I be happy? How can I be comfortable? How can I be peaceful? And of course, we do take some, we do continue our bhakti, but I wouldn't say it's exactly unconditional. Like, I depend on certain good conditions, and then I'm a little bit more devotional. But when I'm in like a kind of a stressful, difficult situation, like my bhakti is not as, it doesn't flow as nicely, I would say. It's not exactly unobstructed. So how do we move from one place to another? Thoughts? Yes?
Being comfortable with being distressed,
Being comfortable with being distressed?
it will pass.
It will pass. Yeah, not taking it too seriously. Like right now it's like winter and it's cold, but we know, the summer will come eventually.
And it'll be too hot.
And it will be too hot. And then we know, okay, the winter will come. So yeah. Should not be, in other words, we should not put too much trust in our mind. Because it's actually, we have circumstances beyond ourselves and it's our mind which takes it as a very big deal. So one thing we have to learn is not to put too much faith in our own minds. Yes, Jani Thakur, and then Manohar.
Just simply by sadhu sangha, by association, everything comes.
Hmm.
Because the devotees will give us plenty of distress. And they will also give us much solace.
Yes.
So simply in the association we make progress and advancement. The danger is if we try to remove ourselves from that association. Like Prabhupada said, you take an iron rod out of fire, but it has to stay in fire to become like fire. So like that, we have to stay in the situation. So we have to be able to see that distress that is coming is
Yes.
simply sent by Krishna through the devotees.
So Jani Thakur was saying we have to stay in the fire of the association of devotees. And definitely we will experience some distress. Because in any human relationship there will always be some friction. It's just the nature of individuality. Prabhupada says in one letter, someone complained to him, like the devotees, they are fighting. And how can this be? And Prabhupada says, how can it not be? How can there not be some friction or some disunity when there's two individuals coming together? It's not that we're becoming some kind of homogeneous blob without any individuality. That's impersonalism. If when there's individuality, there will be some friction, some difference of opinion. And so yes, and then we'll be tested sometimes. And so many times people leave the association of devotees because XYZ, something happened. But we can learn from this verse that bhakti is actually should not be dependent on this kind of like XYZ, which happens on the external world. Like XYZ will happen, but that is your test, how sincere you are actually to continue your service. And therefore Radhanath Swami often says, and my spiritual master, His Holiness Kadambakanda Swami Maharaj, always ingrained this in me, like you have to take some responsibility. Because in responsibility, some sacrifice will have to be made. In responsibility, you'll meet yourself. In responsibility, there will, like, again, the mother to the child. Is it always fun to take care of the child? No. Not always. Maybe it's a very nice child.
Being truthful.
Yeah. Yeah, it will not always be easy. But that's where your love really can be shown. When things are not easy, when there's difficulty, when there is some conflict, when there is it says love, prema, the nature of prema is that when there's every reason for the relationship to break, that it doesn't. So when you have every reason to say, oh, I'm done with this, to hell with this, I'm doing my own thing, to then continue, that's really where love grows. So of course we have to take the appropriate responsibility, not that we get burnt out and so on, like, because this is also, that's the flip side of this. okay, my unhappiness is Krishna's happiness. We also have to be honest where we are. And because otherwise we may take on too much distress. Like I was, for example, I was a temple president for 1 year. And I served faithfully. I had committed for 1 year. But I did not renew my commitment because it was a little bit more distress that I could handle. And so we also have to be honest. Where am I development right now where I'm at? So we have to also consider our nature, taking responsibility with good guidance according to our nature, finding good sangha according to our nature, and then within that, within being nicely situated, we have to tolerate. We have to sacrifice. Yes, Manohar Prabhu.
I was also good at association, but I suppose also developing transcendental knowledge may be helpful. Knowing who we are, who Krishna is, relationship between ourselves and his self.
Yes, so Manohar Prabhu is saying we have to understand who we are. What's the truth? Yeah, it relates to what I earlier said, like, because I sometimes we hear about, devotees having problems and then kind of giving up their devotional service or giving up bhakti. But you can give up like some external manifestation of bhakti, but you cannot give up the truth. You are what you are. We are, and this is a very important point that we have to understand that actually selfless love for Krishna is the natural thing for us. That's our nature. So, whatever reasons there may be on the external level, that doesn't change the truth. That I'm an eternal part of Krishna, and He's my eternal Lord, my Prananatha, the Lord of my life, and there's no real, I don't have an existence outside of Him. That's an illusion to think that there's an existence separate from God, separate from Krishna. So, we can't change the truth. We can change circumstances, we can change the expression of that truth. That's why you have different traditions and so on. But you can't change who you truly are, which is an eternal part of Krishna. So we have to be established in that. And we have to go deep into that, and then we're not so affected by the waves on the top. We have to go deep in the ocean and not be so affected by all the waves. And that going deep is to understand what I am. Janita, you have like a hand kind of.
Someone else had, did you have a hand raised?
Yeah, but you got it.
I was going to say, two points. One is that this morning we were just hearing from Prabhupada that he was saying, even Devaki, she is the mother of Krishna, and her life is filled with so much distress. So it is natural that in this material world there is going to be distress. So that was the other thing was this verse, this 8th verse, I've always heard it explained that this is an aspiration for most sadhukas, for most bhaktas. It's not something that we should pretend to be at that platform. We shouldn't try to think, I can just tolerate whatever.
Yeah.
I should pray for distress and anxiety.
Not recommended. No.
Not recommended. Even I remember when senior devotee told me once, I said, please pray for me, and they said, what should I pray? And I said, please pray I can become a pure devotee, and they said, you should be very careful. Because being a pure devotee means pure.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happens, it's that's pure devotee. So that's a very, very high level.
Yeah, this is the perfected stage. And that can be an aspiration, but we have to approach that from where we're at, from where we are. So how we approach it, that takes very individual personal guidance from a mentor, from a shiksha guru, knows where we are and what our next step towards this is. Because you cannot just jump to that, but it can serve as an aspiration, as an inspiration. I want to share a little story myself about also how association is so important. To associate with people who are already so selfless and see how they act. Like, she's about to do the arati. So I do like hundreds of aratis, I've done thousands of aratis. And sometimes we don't really feel so much. Sometimes we feel bhakti and sometimes not. So I put this in front of Radhanath Swami, who was also Pujari for many years, and a very extremely selfless person. Like he'd take any distress for himself, he can serve others. I've seen this time and time again. And when you know what his answer was? We should not be so concerned about how we feel. We should be concerned about how Krishna feels. And that's like such a powerful answer. And it's like only a person who has like very deep realization can speak like those words, which are just like 2 sentences, and they can completely, hit your heart. And so simple, but so deep and profound, like something you won't forget for the rest of your life, and it like remains like a guideline, which brings you to many different struggles and so on. But it just comes from the words of someone who would actually on this level. So that is something which is irreplaceable to really approach this level. So thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Vasudev Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
So we'll have the arti now, so everyone can please
stand and we can put away the chairs and also the mats. And after the arti, we will have Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ram Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Govinda Shama Kundara Kundi Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar ki jai. Gaura Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Rahana Shukadev ki jai. Manitai Gaura Pranam. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Guranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste
Namaste Narasimhaya.
ki!
Amrita Kishore ki. Vasudev Prabhu ki. Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna. Jai. So thank you all very much for being here again. This concludes another Bhagavat Sravana program. So this program happens every week and it starts at, what time does it start? 11, yeah, with? Kirtan. And then we usually have a? Prasadam. That's, yes. We know that's why you came. Yes, so then we usually have a class. And next week we have a special event. So the program will not start at 11. It will start at? 10:30. Everyone's got that? Make sure you put it in your diary because if you show up at 11, you will have missed a very important part of it. So the program starts at 10:30 because next week we have a special guest with us. His name is Madan Gopal Prabhu, and he is an initiating spiritual master, spiritual teacher, a guru, and he will be coming to be with us next week, and he will be giving Diksha, initiation, so he will be bestowing a sacred name and the sacred beads to one of our community members. Meeny, meeny, miny, mo. No, it's not quite that random. Almost, but not quite. So, our beloved Vinisha, who's just here. So she will be taking spiritual initiation next week. So there will be a whole ceremony for all of the community to be involved in, to experience this wonderful and large step of commitment by Venetia. So the program will start at, what time did I say again? 10:30. That's right, yeah, 10:30. And then we'll have a talk by His Grace Madan Gopal Prabhu, and after that, then there will be the ceremony of initiation, and after that will be an extra special bonus, because the person who gave the talk today, Vasudev Prabhu, will be conducting a fire yajna, a fire sacrifice, which is part of the initiation ceremony. And Krishna willing, that will all finish in time for the arti, and then we'll also have prasadam afterwards. So I think that explains everything. Did I miss anything? Yes. We still know. Yes, we're going to have prasadam now. So we'll take prasad. So they're going to serve prasad at the back of the room. Everyone is welcome. Thank you very much for coming and being here. Also, the programs here at the Bhakti Center exist on your goodwill. So if anyone would like to make a donation, there's a bowl and a QR code you can scan. So you're welcome to make a contribution. No pressure. We'll only give you half if you don't, but it's okay. Whoa. Just kidding. That was a joke. I'm learning how to joke from Yadunath Prabhu. Thank you very much. Bhagavat Sravana ki. Hare Krishna.